Hi, and welcome back to the Variety Pack podcast. I'm Chloe Baldwin, and I'll be your host as we have incredible conversations with live entertainers about how to harness the attention of today's audiences. I myself am a drag artist, a variety artist, a professional actor. I use all pronouns, and I consider myself a multi-hyphenate in so many ways. And I'm really, really excited to introduce to you our two guests for today. Our first guest is April Jennifer Choi, and as I just learned today, she is a 24-time Guinness World Record holder in whips and circus arts. She's also an aerospace engineer for NASA. Her highest expertise is in the physics of whip performance and the science of stagecraft. She's a fire performer, chains aerialist, magician, musician, and her international television and stage performances have mesmerized audiences worldwide. You also might know her and her wife as the flaming lesbians who went viral for their wedding photos in which they are literally on fire. If you Google flaming lesbians, they will pop up. And we have Trigg Watson, who blends an incredible mix of theatrical storytelling, technology, and human connection into modern magic. He's originally from Australia and then started out in Texas when he was super young, performing and producing many of his own shows, and from there has gone on to be an internationally performing magician who's been seen on TedX, Masters of Illusion, Penn and Teller's Fool Us, and of course at the Magic Castle. I'm so proud to have collaborated with him, and I am deeply proud to call both of these innovative, brilliant, brave artists my friends. I loved this conversation, and I know you will too. This is the Variety Pack podcast, brought to you by Mystify Magic Festival. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Variety Pack podcast. I am here with currently internationally traveling magician Trigg Watson and 23-time Guinness World Record holder April Jennifer Choi. Hi, y'all.
24 now, by the way.
What?
24 Guinness World Records as of a couple weeks ago.
Girl, can't stop, won't stop. Oh my gosh, what was this one for?
This one was most number of whip cracks while on a balance board in 1 minute.
Congratulations. That's so
Yeah.
cool. On a tipping kind
the
of
rollabola. Yeah.
Yes.
So it took a couple times, but it was just like, oh yeah, this is interesting. When I was practicing, the direction you go matters, because I didn't realize, like, when I go one way, I curve my arm one way. So the rollabola slowly turns. I'm like, oh my God, this is a thing I'd have to account for. This is weird.
That's hilarious. Just having to take that into account as you're balancing it out. Do you have to crack in the opposite direction you're leaning when you're doing it?
So the way I ended up doing it was like almost in plane with the rollabola, trying to keep it flat, and then I do volleys back and forth just to get the number up. I think it was pretty darn close to 200. I want to say it was like 190 something. I don't remember the final number exactly. I can look it up by the time we're done with this.
Yes, please. I want to know. I want to know so bad. Trigg, where in the world are you right now?
I am currently docked at Royal Caribbean's cruise line's private island, known,
Ooh.
They named it the Perfect Day in Coco Cay. That is the name of the island. It says Perfect Day and it says Coco Cay. It's a little, they're very, I think they're working very hard to suggest how they expect you to rate your day after a visit. There are water slides and beach chairs, and I, like a workaholic hermit, am in my cruise cabin. Would much prefer to be having a wonderful podcast conversation with amazing people than getting a sunburn with this complexion.
Honored. Oh my God. It kind of sounds like the name of a ska band, The Perfect Day in Coco Cay.
It does. In fact, they're probably playing out on the island, I'm guessing, as we speak.
I bet you're right. Well, thank you so much for being here, both of you. I respect both of you so much as artists and as people, and I've been really looking forward to this conversation. So I'm so excited to chat.
Well, I think I can speak on behalf of April and I that we respect equally you very much, and it's really fun to be all three together here.
Hard agree.
Thank you, my friend.
The respect is mutual.
It's a big old crossover episode. I'm so happy about it. Okay, so I want to start with something that I think the three of us probably have in common, and I'd love both of your takes on this. I sometimes feel like a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to my art, and I wanted to ask each of you, what does getting it right look like to you when it comes to your art? Like
Oh,
what is that feeling, or what is the marker for that for you?
I've changed my theory of this over the years considerably, and now I'm at the get it done, not get it right stage of my life. I'm like, you can be a perfectionist, take forever. So my new phrase in my head that I have is like 90% is still a 4.0. So if you aim for that 90th percentile, technically, if you're at school, you still get a 4.0. I'm like, that's it. 90%. That's my goal.
90% is a 4.0. You can't really get higher than 4.0
Exactly.
either.
Like, why would I
So
want like a 99.99% in my class? But I'm like, if I get a 90%, everyone still says I did a great job and I don't spend like hundreds of hours on that project.
I love that for the last like 2% of it.
Yep.
Trey, what about
For
you?
me, I think there's two sort of versions of getting it right for me. There's like having the performance being smooth and feeling like I didn't have a lot of technical issues happen in a show and the audience responded positively. Like I can end a show and be like, yeah, that was a good show. Like, the tricks happened as intended. The audience was fun. So I can kind of like praise myself on that level when I feel like it's good, gotten right. But there's a more elusive version of perfect that like warms the heart for me. And it's so much more like delicate and precious and hard to achieve. And Chloe, you've been a part of some of those moments as a creative collaborator for me
Aw.
when I've um, been succeeded in like gifting people the feeling that makes me love magic. And that is so hard.
Aw.
I spend so much of my show, I think, like trying to chase, this very elusive thing, which is people having like a moment, a brief moment of awe in their brains. And that I can't see, I can't reach for. Like I can't like plan for really other than just create the conditions in which it might happen. And when it does happen, I often can feel it because I hear the audience respond in a different way. I see their faces. And that's a transcendental feeling for me. And some of the moments in which those are created are often after just a whole lot of work, like a lot of complex method and planning and rehearsal behind the scenes. And every now and then it feels like, oh, I just created the experience of real magic on stage. Yeah, that's so much harder, and it doesn't always happen every show. In fact, I don't. I think maybe I achieve it for one or two people every now and then in my show, but yeah, that's what I would say is like the standard I'm always aspiring for, and that doesn't mean that people won't walk out of my show and say, "Oh, that was an amazing magic show," but it isn't always the same as like feeling like I hit it. I hit them where I wanted to.
Oh, I
I also
love
wanted to
that.
add, it depends on the aspect area that I'm aiming for. Because like I don't aim for perfection in my lines because I feel like it feels a little more realistic and you get to ad lib and do some crowd work in there. But when it comes to like the precision, like I absolutely do not want to whip my wife in the face on a stage. So that's where I'm like 100% I want accuracy. The other stuff, not so much.
Yeah, so I'm a fight choreographer as well outside of the variety arts things. And one of the things that we talk about in fight choreo is the red chip theory, which is it's an exercise that you do with the students that you're working with. And first you take a red poker chip and you have them play catch with it. They just pass the red poker chip back and forth till they're good at catching it. And then you go to one of the students and you pour a whole bunch of black poker chips in their hand as well. So they have a red chip and a bunch of black chips. And then they just chuck the whole handful at the other person. But their only goal is still to get the red chip. And the black chips can fall to the ground. It doesn't matter. But red chip is what you want to focus on. So it sounds like for you,
Ooh.
not whipping your wife in the face is the
Yeah,
red
that's
chip, and
that's the
everything else
number one
can.
goal. If rest of the
Yeah.
show goes bad, I at least have a place to sleep at night.
Absolutely. Like having those benchmarks for yourself of like, this is what needs to like lock in, and then the other things can be a little bit more fluid around it. I love
Yep.
that.
Yep.
I also like the combination of what you two said of like April kind of getting to that like 90% and calling it, and like that being the conditions in which the, whatever you want to call it, the muse might descend. You might be create that moment of awe for the audience, and just kind of creating that space for that to happen. There's something that feels, to get a little bit deep with it early on, there's something that feels a little bit spiritual about that to me, while also being scientific. And I'd love to hear what you two's takes on that are. Like, there's only so much I can control versus like, how much you're creating those conditions.
I think I'll talk to the scientific side first because it's what I do every single day. Is
I
I
had a
really try
feeling.
to avoid what is that? Paralysis by analysis is the term that we use, where like you just sit there and you're writing out a script or a show or something and you constantly do it and you're like, how do I make this a little better? How do you make, and next thing you know, you're like, you just never feel right with the script versus like, oh, I can't perform this, that first time you debut an actor, like I can't quite until I get these wording right. I can't get it right till like, you know what? When I finally hit that like roughly 90% mark, I'm just gonna try it. It might not be a big show, but I'll be like, I'm gonna do this just so I talk it out and get a good feel for it. So like there's the scientific aspect that gets you a good chunk of the way, but the artistic aspect is what gets you that feel. And things always change. Like this joke I thought would land, turns out it didn't. And other sides I'd be like, oh, I just kind of throw this in there, but it's like the biggest laugh of the night. And you're like, huh, well, I'm gonna keep that in from now on.
I loved what you said, April. And Trig, can I kind of ask you what your thoughts are on it too?
I think I need to hear the question again.
Yeah, basically, I'm just asking about where the line between what we can control and what we can't, and how in your own mind psychologically do you deal with the fact that you can kind of make that 90% happen, you can make those circumstances happen, but
Yeah.
sometimes the awe shows up and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think like once I'm on stage, I have to just go with the flow wherever the show takes me. But what I can control are the things that are so easy to skip, which is things like checklists. There's I have a lot, I have a very privileged job in that, unlike most other professions, my job is to control the sequence of events in my show. I say this happens and then this happens, and then to bring the team together that's helping me bring this show to life for an audience, when I say this lighting cue happens. When I say this, we bring the movie screen down. Like, I am a control freak. I am paid to be a control freak, and what a privilege that is. I'm so spoiled in that way. But I think it's very easy to like. I think for me, it's about taking responsibility for the fact that like conditions are set up for me to be allowed to be a control freak, to prepare for my show, to unpack, to think about what might happen and what the contingency plans are, to go over things with the technical team, to rehearse, to go over my script if I haven't said it in a week. Like all those things I can do, go through my checklist. And then once the show begins, my job is different. My job is no longer to like be the stage manager or be the stage manager, like the meta stage manager of the experience. And now it's like this sort of letting go. And like now I'm just like the bridge between the audience's experience and the magic. And the audience is gonna only judge me on how I respond in the moment to whatever happens, and whether they feel safe and taken care of and like light, while watching it. So I think that's for me. It's like once the show starts, now my hand is off the wheel. I am the real stage manager, the technical team. They're now the ones that are kind of carrying me. And my job is just to be present and connected. So I think that's how I think about it. It's just crazy to me how easy it is for us performers to not do the control work before a show, because we sort of have this attitude of like, well, it'll figure itself out. I'm good, which is often true. But like pilots, don't sometimes go, well, no, maybe I don't need the checklist today. Like, I'm on it. I'm feeling good. Like,
Oh,
I'm just
no,
going to
they
get in the plane.
definitely
I'm going
do.
to go.
They 100%. I am amazed
Do
how
they?
often skydivers were like, there's this checklist. If you don't do the checklist, you're gonna die. And the next thing I hear is there's a hole there. I'm like, it'll be fine. You're like, what?
April, skydivers make sense to me because I feel like they are the surfer dudes of the aviation industry. But you, as someone who is literally in aviation at the highest level, I can't imagine that you and your team doesn't do the checklist every time. Like,
Oh, trust me, there are people where it's just like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
I don't think I want to hear that. Can you let me live in this world in which NASA has a checklist?
There are checklists everywhere in aerospace and aviation. There are checklists, but there are definitely a lot of areas where, like, I am really that somebody asked me the other day, it's like, how do you perform and not get nervous? And like, after a certain point, you just got to, you know how to handle all the mistakes, and you can't set up for everything. Like, if you're like, oh, I try to think of every contingency that could possibly happen to the show, you're going to be prepping for everything versus once you get comfortable at a level, you're just like, I can adapt to anything that is about to happen. There could be somebody who runs across my stage naked, and I'm like, you know what? I'll be able to. I don't have a line for it now, but I will come up with one on the spot.
Right.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
the irony that a huge amount of prep actually leads to the ability to be flexible and the ability
Mhm.
to like come up with a contingency plan on the fly if something goes crazy that you
And
never could have expected.
that level of wit, like there are magicians who've designed their entire show. Like now is almost entirely crowd work and like ad libs and working off of their people. And then there's other magicians who like, like, because you've seen a lot of recordings, you've been to like, I'm not gonna name magicians, but you've seen their show so many times. There's that one moment that he always like makes it feel like it's ad lib, it's on the spot, but you know that that happened like the last 3 times I came to this. So you made it feel so organic, but you know they kind of nudged it that way. And I'm impressed by both characteristics of that art.
Yeah, and having an alchemy of the two can really make a very interesting dynamic show because you're ending up being more in control than maybe the audience thinks you are, and less in control than maybe the audience thinks you are at different points. I've
People are
found
like,
yeah.
oh no, I'm just there've always been comments when you're talking about like, hey, how do you always set that up? And you're like, no, it was luck. It just by chance that person was right there at that time. Like I've definitely built outs into routines of just like on the off chance, 1 out of 52 times, they just happened to, and you're like, wow, I built this in and then it worked, right? And then there's other times where there's just organic things that you can never predict that you figure out how you can work it in or work it out depending on what happened.
I had one show one time where I do this thing with my sword where I have the audience talk as my sword. And I always ask the sword its favorite color. And then they all say different things because they're a giant audience. And then I go, it's okay. I have a hard time making decisions too to the sword because, queer, gender fluid. And this one time I did it. And I swear to God, everyone said blue. And I was like, whoa. And so we went down a totally different path, but like you kind of never know what's going to happen.
You
And
get,
if you kind of create space for them to do something unexpected, then
I
that can lead to something cool for you too.
This is a crazy thing that happened fairly recently. I did a gig, walk around, where I stole a card. I needed to deposit it somewhere, and this woman had her purse open. I'm like, screw it, just gonna take it, let her get a distraction, drop it in her purse, and whatever. But I wanted to create time disparity between like the front and the beginning. So like halfway through, I'm just asking her about her life, and I'm like, oh, do you have any kids? Like, I have a daughter. It's like, what's your daughter name? This is a daughter. Like when's the last time you thought of the daughter? And I'm like, I don't know. I really wish you would give me a call. And I kid you not, that moment. So when I put it on her in her purse, it happened to be on her phone. Her daughter calls her. She goes in her purse, picks up the phone, and the card is on top of her phone. And she's like, what? She takes the card and she like sees the card, answers the phone as her daughter, and she's just like, oh my God, this magician just told me this. And just like, I planned none of that, but I am going with it. It's like, oh,
Yes, and that's so cool, April. Oh my God.
pure
That's
luck.
crazy.
Pure luck.
Yeah. Yeah. And we can just lean into it, you know? Sometimes the
Yeah.
magic happens to us too. Dang. Okay, so I have a reveal for both of you that I'm really excited to tell you.
Ooh.
So I've known this about you for a while, Trigg, and then I just found this out about you, April, that both of you really like making cool organization systems with Tupperware bins. And it's
That's
something that
niche.
like,
That's a niche
yeah, it's
overlap.
so niche. I was like, this is the center of the Venn diagram. And I would just love to hear, I just would love to sit back for a moment and hear you both talk to each other about your organization systems, because I have been constantly in awe, speaking of moments of awe of yours, Trigg, and I'd love to hear more about yours, April, and just like, what are the similarities and differences there and how you approach your Tupperware bins?
What do you like to put in boxes, April?
Each box has a different area. So like the outdoor box is like fire eating, fire wicks, Kevlar, rock climbing equipment, flow toys, whips, long whips, short whips, target whips, juggling whips. And then like indoors, I have like an electronics area. So each of the electronics, like you'll have like resistors, capacitors, batteries, LEDs. Like, so there's that area also has their labeling. Then like house supplies, there's two closets that entirely the identical blue boxes, where each one is labeled. It's in alphabetical. So if I never need a house supply, I just go to one of those two closets, go in order. I need like lights, comma, bulbs. You're like, oh, look, I have a light bulb, right? So same thing. I have my whip making station. There's like the leather whips. So there's leather whip supplies, fire whip supplies, nylon whip supplies, etc. They're all in their boxes as well. So it's just like when I go there, I can just find the thing and it's really easy.
That sounds very satisfying. I approve of all of this. I'm
I
curious,
will
do
share a picture with
you?
you too.
Yeah, we'll share pictures for Chloe's edit. Do
Yes, please.
you do you is there a digital twin database of this organization system, or is it purely visual in your space?
I did have a digital one where I when I organized it to figure it out, because some of them I built so that it could perfectly house the boxes. I like labeled it so I also knew like when I was supposed to alphabetize it. But then over the year, I just kept moving stuff around and it went away from what I had digitized. And I didn't want to keep the two of them to like constantly update both of them. So I didn't have to rely on the digital side. Like I don't have so much stuff. Like I have this new rule that if I can't remember that I have it and where it is stored, then likely I do not need to have it, right? So then I'm like, okay, if I can't remember where it is or I have to have like a database, then I have too much stuff.
I think that's an amazing rule, and it tells me that I absolutely have too much stuff, and that my Airtable that tracks all of my inventory has absolutely enabled a hoarder's lifestyle, albeit a very organized one with a
I was
lot of
gonna
shelf.
say, Trigg, if you're a hoarder, you're the most organized hoarder I have ever met in my life.
Well, it does blow my mind that, I mean, this is hardly I mean, this is relevant to performers because we all have stuff that we need to do our art. That like it seemed crazy to me that like even now in 2026, the way most people like store their things is just sort of randomly in the space they live because they want access to it. And like we've had the technology long before AI, long before even spreadsheets to like not fill our space with stuff because we need it, but instead to have some sort of reference. Like we could have our basements, because people have basements, our basements could be filled with like pretty much everything we own. And then
Yep.
we could just have like a spreadsheet of like, oh, when I need the Christmas tree, I know that it is hidden in this black box named R2. I don't have to be like put it in a specific place in the attic. I can just have documentation for it. And that allows me to like put unlike stuff together because I'm no longer having to group it based on category. I can group it based on space efficiency and cram an entire house worth of stuff
Yep.
into a Los Angeles studio apartment out of necessity,
Yes.
and not have it completely take over my space. So yeah, I'm very passionate about like, I don't yet have a house, but if I did, I would like to think that I would not decorate based on the amount of stuff I had and instead decide what is the space that is pleasing to me, and then have a completely different storage area for that you know, my little robot just delivers the thing to me when I need it. You know, we can outsource this.
I love
Yeah.
this. Your library of items.
There are people
Yeah.
who there's an app out there that somebody pitched where what they did is they took their phone, they walked around their house with their phone into a video, they uploaded their video to an AI, and now they basically just do that once a month. And then when they're like, "Hey, where's that Christmas tree?" They basically query, "Look for Christmas tree," and they're like, "Oh, frame here, this location here," which tells me it is in the lower left hand corner of your garage. And you're like, "Oh my God,
Amazing.
you're gonna make so much money."
That's so funny. God,
And
garage
you have to
space
be
is
a
just
sort of
interesting.
personality to care enough to be excited about this kind of app.
Yeah.
You do have to be a certain personality, I feel like.
I do think the three of us might all be that personality. I think that's where our Venn diagrams cross. Okay,
Oh
while
yeah,
we're
I
on the
will
I've
subject
seen
send you
your
of
pictures
gear,
apartment,
of the
yeah,
Chloe. I
bins.
think you could use some extra boxes. Personally, I think there's room for more Tupperware if I was to do an audit.
yes. Okay, wait. If you can, we have a special episode of the podcast that's like actually an HGTV show where you two come over and like
Be
we
like,
get a bunch
here's
of
my
Tupperware
closet of
boxes.
soup.
The before
They're
and
all
after. It's
clearly
like the
labeled.
prep.
They're alphabetized, right?
I'm
They go
in. Put me
noun,
in,
comma,
coach.
adjective instead of the other way around, so they can all remain organized by category and still be able to named correctly. Because otherwise you have light bulbs and lighthouses versus like bulbs, comma, light, and then you're like, oh yeah, because then tape is the one. I have so many different types of tape: silicone tape, electrical tape, vinyl tape, double-sided tape, cardboard tape. But if I labeled it by its adjective, they would be far apart. So I always do tape, comma, and then the adjective, and therefore they're all together. Sorry, I'm gonna die on that
That's
hill.
super helpful. No, this is great. I was just organizing some papers yesterday and I did the same thing of like it was either going to be like all car papers and like current car papers, but then I was like, no, I can't do that. It's got to be car, comma current and car, comma all, like or
Yes.
rest of.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love you, Chloe.
I love you so much. Y'all are the best.
Wait,
Thank
I
you.
gotta do it here. Oh, you can't see the tattoo. Otherwise, I could do it like this.
You can do it with the
There,
mic. It totally counts.
there.
It's so cute. While we're on the topic of gear, I have a question for both of you. Is there
Ooh.
a piece of gear that you will not go to a gig without, or that is something essential for you?
Oh, sorry. I've been developing for like the last 3 years. And I try to figure out how much I want to give. I don't actually care that much. I'm not that much of a walk around magician, but I've been obsessed with like I have to wear nice things when I go to like meetings and whatnot. And then when I do walkarounds, I have like a slutty outfit, but I also have like a business outfit. So it's like the standard pants, jacket. And I hate not being able to find everything in the pockets. So like right now you can see I have this harness system and I've taken this my magician's harness systems to like Mystify and to Magic Live and where I showcase like this is now organized such that any jacket I can throw on my magician's harness. And I have this deck of cards. I have a Sharpie. I have double cross on the Sharpie next to that Sharpie, right? I have pen. I have paper. I have another stack of cards over here. I have sort quick. So therefore, if I need to do seconds or specific deals that I want, that's available. I have the different deck of cards that like it's all organized such that if I need to immediately get to something, I can. It stays under my jacket so I can switch around my costumes easily between the two. And then it's form fitting, so it actually looks nice, right? So therefore, I can wear like a nice slender jacket, button it, look great for a photo, undo that button, walk up to somebody, and everything is already set. So I have it on Instagram, pictures, other places of the designs that I have, and that's now like my favorite thing.
I love that. You're your own walking set. You have your props
Yep.
table like on you, and it doesn't have to be one specific jacket. It can go with anything. I
Yeah,
love
like
that.
I have basically a walk around area, a quick change area, my whip show, and then I have like 3 different categories of whip shows that if I need to do it, I just grab that box. And the like paycheck roulette is one where I'm like cutting through envelopes of paychecks. So because that's the one I do the most frequently, I just put it's not that hard. You just need a box of 100 envelopes. So I just drop that in each one of those boxes. But now it means I don't have to like sort and be like, oh, I need to grab this over here and this over here. I just go for that box. It's already organized. It's already there. All the stuff is in there. I just grab that box and I'm ready to go.
I feel you on that. I just had breakthrough on makeup for my characters, where I used to just have one makeup bag that's like, it has my drag makeup in it, it has my morning night makeup in it, it has my Chloe I'm going to the club makeup in it, which I don't really go to the club, but and so I had this one bag, but I would constantly leave it in the wrong place. And so
Yeah,
now
you switch things over.
I just have 3 sets that are different. I got 2 more eyeliners, and then everything else was like good to go. And so I have 3 separate bags. One of them stays with morning night, one of them stays with Christian rock, one of them stays with going to the club,
And you have
which has been
different
very
like
helpful.
lashes for each of them.
Exactly. And you wouldn't believe it, but Christian rock has the longest lashes of all.
Oh, I wouldn't have guessed that. Trigg.
I think we need Chloe character makeup merchandise kits. Like that could
Yes.
be like, pick up the drag king Christian rock makeup kit after the show. Morning
I love
night
that.
kit. Because my FaceTime camera didn't work, I'm going to use the fact that I now have my phone as my camera to show you my everyday gig thing. This is it. This is my box of electronics. So what you're looking at
Oh, it's currently blurred. Are you?
Yes,
You want
it
it
is,
blurred?
isn't it? Here, let's. No, we can unblur.
He's
Let's
trying to be a
see
man
if
of
we can
mystery.
Let's see if we can Oh no, that blurred it worse. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Okay,
it's good.
so this is a Pelican case that is my carry-on, because if my check bag doesn't arrive, the most important thing for
Oh my
me
God.
with the show that I perform is that I can be seen, heard, and then I can display media and display a close-up camera view of whatever I'm doing. And if I have those elements, I can pretty much make a show with whatever I find and still deliver a relatively high production value experience. So it is, this used to be, everything used to be in Ziploc bags like this that I kept in a backpack. And then that just became something that took an hour to set up and pack up. So now everything is already plugged in. I know it looks like chaos, but underneath the chaos is a Mac Studio computer that has everything still plugged in. All the dongles are still connected. There's a power strip with all the plugs that I need, with all the chargers, and my camera here as well. So even though it looks like chaos on the front, once everything comes out, it doesn't take a lot of time to get everything up and running because the connections are there. So while it seems silly to call that my everyday carry, I would say for like my stage show, that is my thing that I bring everywhere, no matter what I'm performing.
That's really cool. That's your tech booth in a box is kind of what I'm seeing there.
Yeah, I haven't put it into a harness yet, but it's only a matter of time. I think maybe April can help.
Fit in there. Oh, that's gonna be a very heavy harness.
It's gonna be a
the
trench
form
coat.
factors.
Oh yeah.
I love it. Oh my God. Well, y'all, we're getting close to the end here. But I'd love to kind of go to one big high level question before we get to the very end, which is, both of you have tackled some really amazing, huge things in your careers that I think a lot of people would look at and go, oh my God, that's too scary. How can I do something that huge or that complicated or that difficult? And I just wanted to ask, like, what is the key for you to starting something like that? To taking, step one, or to deciding I'm going to try and do this huge thing?
Well, April's thinking. I think for me, it's like start off with like the idea has to be exciting enough. It has to, for me, it has to feel impossible and exciting. Like, oh, if I did because that like vision of like, wow, if this works, how cool would that be? That feeling has to be strong enough to survive the drudgery of the middle of the project when it's a far cry from your perfect vision in your head. Like you have to traverse that like muddy abyss. So I think that's one thing. And then the other thing is just like, you eat an elephant one bit at a time, or whatever the quote is. Like, you just start. The hardest thing is just to start. And it's messy. And I think it just has to be messy before, it has to get messy before it's clean and perfect. You really can't have it clean and perfect first. You can't build it perfectly in your head first. At a certain point, you just have to dive in and let it be messy and let it not live up to your expectations. and just keep moving forward.
I love it. Thank you, Trigg.
Mine's not going to be anywhere. I do a lot of things. My wife likes to say I am bit sexual. I will do a lot for the bit, or despite sexual. I will do it despite, because someone will be like, "You should totally do this in your show," and they're like, "I don't want to." I'm like, "Well, you can't, because I'll do that first." And I'm like, "Well, now I have to." Like, I didn't think I would be like catching arrows blindfolded until someone said you can't do that, and I'm like, well, guess what I'm doing next. Or someone's just like, oh yeah, that'd be a hilarious bit, because like, who's done a whips and chains routine? You're like, Google. How has no one done a whips and aerials chains routine up until that point? I'm like, well, I got to do this now. Or someone's like, I don't think you could do that. Or like somebody was on Reddit, it's like, no, if you can deal centers and bottom deals in seconds, like, you're a fake person. Like, you're not a real emperor. So, like, put a video up. So I'm like, okay, here it is. So I just like did it, put it on Reddit, and it's like, oh, you didn't respond after that. Like, I do a lot of things to spite people, and it's gotten me surprisingly far. Because like, what, even this current job that I have right now, like, it was because my wife was like, you should totally apply to NASA, and I'm like, there's no effing way that they're gonna hire some random circus artist middle of nowhere as like managing aerospace team in Kennedy Space Center. And she's like, maybe. I'm like, no, I'm gonna do this to spite you. So I filled out the application just to spite her, to be like, see, they told me no. And then like 24 hours after that, they said, yes, we want to interview. I'm like, fuck. Well, I was wrong.
I think I now understand how the 24 world records came about now.
Oh yeah, no, it's some guy or a person basically being like, I don't know, it's not that hard to like unicycle and crack whips at the same time. And there's just like, well, guess what's now in my show? I gotta do this. Like, you just have to. You're like, okay, now I have to.
1,000%. I love this. So it sounds like the vision needs to be, ironically, it's not that you need to like dial back the vision. It's that the vision needs to be big enough to entice you. And sometimes that involves the vision being a bit or being made of spite. And I love all of that, y'all.
It's a surprisingly large amount of my show is some has a story based in either a bit we came up with that we're gonna carry this through to the end. Like, we're now flaming lesbians. We are going to carry this. We are getting married by setting ourselves on fire. Like, that's part of the bit now. It doesn't matter. Or just to spite somebody, I'm like, well, I might as well get a world record in it.
I love it. Committing to the bit to the ultimate degree. Well, y'all, I've only got one more question for you, which is, if you were a snack in a variety pack, what kind of snack would you be? And I'll start. I think today I'm feeling extra whimsical, so I think I'd be like one of those little curly cheese snacks, like they come in a curl, but I don't want to be too you crunch into it and it's like it falls apart in your mouth. Like, it's like a Cheez-It, but if a Cheez-It were a water slide, like on Trigg's Island. Trigg, what about you? You got one locked and loaded?
Yeah. I was going to say blueberries because I love blueberries. But then I thought about the fact about how much I love Chex Mix. So I think I'm Chex Mix.
Are you the classic Chex Mix?
Yeah. But
OG, right.
If it's Chex Mix, I'll take it. Like the little crossy, like the thing that looks like it's sort of thatched, crisscross. That's my favorite one. And yeah, no, it's just great.
I love it. That's great. You are a variety pack within a variety pack.
Exactly.
I love that.
This is gonna be real nerdy. I'm probably gonna go with a gummy bear, and the reason is recently in a mechanics of materials things, and we feel like if we stress some things, most snacks, they're like crispy. So if you put stress on them, they break, they'll fracture. So I'm like, well, I am a nonlinear type of person. I'd want to do nonlinear analysis. So I did a nonlinear analysis on a gummy bear that squished, because I'm like, yeah, I can form to the stress that happens, and it's in a non-linear manner. So I will also send you this GIF that of FEA on a gummy bear, and I'm like, yeah, this represents me. I am this gummy bear.
I am so excited for that. Thank you, April.
Yeah, I will
and
send you this GIF like right now.
give me it. Well, my wonderful full blueberry Chex Mix and gummy bear friends, thank you so much. I am so thankful to have you on this podcast, and thank you for your time and have a wonderful day.